Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Nice to see you. It's been a while.
Uh, I'm waiting for my lunch to be delivered. You're taking up my lunch hour.
All right. Well, just I'm sorry. You can snack while we go through this meeting.
Okay.
Um, um,
No, sir.
all right. Hello,
Oh, we got
David.
everybody. All right.
Hey, John,
Hey,
how are you?
good. How you doing?
Good, good, good.
Hey, Jonathan. How you doing?
I am great. It's nice to speak with you again, John. When this collaboration opportunity popped up, I thought of you fairly quickly, so I'm glad it caught your attention.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Um, so we went through it and we want to see like where there's a fit. So I thought what we would do is kind of after we met in Atlanta, we were going to kind of meet and discuss how we could collaborate. Um, and so we didn't get the opportunity, and I was kind of I didn't end up following up. I'm sorry, I kind of dropped the ball there. I think you had put me in contact
Well,
with
life
someone.
happens. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do is kind of go through. I invited some of our team leads and to talk a little bit about the different projects that we're working on and where that might be a fit with NASA. And I invited David Ma, uh, and David is the dean at the Computer Science and Engineering School at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and Mike
Oh, very
Colbert.
good.
Yeah,
Good, hey
yeah.
guys.
John and Jonathan, I know you're an Aggie, right?
Oh yeah, class of '06.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
one of my branch members has a son down in Corpus, and he's had a great experience.
Great, great.
yeah, the island. I think Corpus is one of Texas's best kept secrets. Grew up down there in Port A while I was growing up in high school, and it was our weekend thing. Um, and Mike Culbertson has also joined us. He's head of economic development for um, uh, Corpus Christi Economic Development.
Hey, how you doing?
Good afternoon.
All right.
So we've been working on a after we met Jonathan, maybe before we met. I think I might have mentioned I've been working with Texas A&M Chancellor Sharp, working on a project up in College Station, and then I started working with David down in Corpus, and we're looking at opening up a lab down there and kind of a robot educational hub and also doing robo shows and using that to really as a business opportunity, but also to inspire people to get into STEM and as our educational platform. So maybe real quick, if want to go through and just do introductions, and then we can kind of get started. And maybe Jonathan, you could start off. That would probably be good.
Sure. So I am chief of the Robotic Systems Technology branch at the Johnson Space Center. So my group does tech dev for NASA missions. So I'm sure you're familiar with a variety of the robotics activities across the agency, but our focus is on ways to help the crew. So I've got three major areas in my branch. So the first is dexterous robotics. The most recognizable projects there are the Robonaut and Valkyrie series of humanoids. So I grew up working on the Robonaut 2 project. We have got crew mobility rovers. So we call these the Space Exploration Vehicle, or SEV. And then we have a NASA-owned and operated asset called the Ground Test Unit for NASA's Lunar Terrain Vehicle procurement. So we've got three companies that have been on contract to get through the early development cycle, and we are eagerly awaiting the program to announce who will be building the ones for the surface of the moon. And then the third part of my branch does autonomy development, and our main target for that is the Gateway vehicle. We'll be operating that very differently than how we do something like the space station or any other human spacecraft. So there's much more autonomy built in just due to the communications restrictions that we expect, especially when crew is not present on it. And perhaps something that's more relevant to our conversation today, another major effort that we do that is sort of adjacent to the tech dev, but significantly feeds it, is the Robotics Alliance project. So I have staff that does a lot of the work across the agency for that. So one of our primary ways of supporting tech dev, supporting STEM education is the robotics competitions like FIRST. So I personally came off of a FIRST robotics team that this branch sponsors. So it's been a really nice journey for me to have gotten that interaction when I was in high school. And then I went to A&M and then got recruited into the Pathways or Cooperative Education program. So we look at those types of efforts as like our farm club. And it's a very powerful type of interaction where we provide mentorship and realistic problems for high school students to try to set that hook early. So the program has evolved since I was in it 20 some odd years ago. And we now have things down at the elementary school level. So I think that's enough for now. I'm glad to elaborate on those, as well as a couple of things that I could suggest for the active collaboration opportunity. But let's continue going around the virtual room.
Okay, great. David, maybe you want to go next, and then Mike.
Yeah, first of all, nice to meet all of you. I'm David Ma. I'm the Dean of the College of Engineering and Computer Science at Corpus Christi. And John and I had some conversations, since started last year, and we were talking about a lot of possibilities to collaborate, and I think we're really close to getting something done in terms of it could be setting up a lab or setting up something similar. The college here is relatively new. We started the college in 2022. Well, Mike, actually, thank you for the support of the engineering programs. They have been really instrumental for the program to actually get started. And the college right now, we have about 1,100 students. We were down a little bit this year because of the international students are having trouble coming. We used to have about 1,300 to 1,400 students, but now we're roughly 1,100. But we're gonna probably see an uptake maybe starting next year because we have some new programs that's in the pipeline. We offer most of the basic engineering programs like civil, mechanical, electrical, industrial, computer science, and GIS. These are 7 bachelor's programs we currently offer. We also offer master's program and also PhD programs too. We're pretty heavy in research. A lot of times people don't know about Corpus, or at least the STEM education in Corpus is mostly efficient, place, I guess. But we actually do a lot of research. We have some facilities that actually College Station doesn't have. That's we try to be a little bit unique in terms of what we do. So we have some unique faculty expertise. We have some aerospace. We had a grant from NASA. I think we just finished that last year. We also had a faculty member who was selected as alternative to the actual astronaut. I guess he actually went to Houston, for training and all of that. Long story short, I think robotics and AI and robotics are something that we are focusing on right now, trying to develop a program around that theme. So that's why we're looking into that, and also robotics and application of robotics in space exploration is also one of the focus areas. Um,
Do you
before,
know do you know
yeah,
Dr. Ambrose up at the College Station campus?
I don't know him so far, but I moved from Hawaii to here when I was in University of Hawaii before. Back then, I work a lot with the Hawaii Flight Laboratory, State Laboratory.
Okay. Mhm.
There's a lot of NASA interactions over there, space exploration. We even work with Luxembourg. European countries actually ramping up their space programs. Yeah, so that's where we are so far, and I'm glad that we get connected. I think there are lots of opportunities ahead.
Agreed. So a reason why I asked about Ambrose, he was my boss and mentor for many, many years.
I
So
see.
he left in 2021 to become a professor there at the A&M campus, and has a
Ah,
pretty nice facility, and is very focused on space
yeah.
robotics. So if that's an introduction at some point you would like for me to help make,
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I'd
Yeah, if you can help us establish this connection, that'd be great. Well, I know the dean fairly
okay.
well. I mean, the dean is also an aerospace engineer. Yeah.
Very good.
Great. Thank you.
Mike
Thank you, David.
Culbertson, I just want to tell you about economic development. Between 2012 and 2022, there was $137 billion in foreign direct investment in the United States. 99 billion went to Texas and 57 billion went to Corpus Christi. So we've been doing very well. And the reason why we've been doing very well is we work really hard on workforce between Del Mar College, which is a community college, Craft Training Center, which is industry based, and Texas A&M. So when he talks about we've been very helping them, we don't pay them, but the city, and we have other programs that help pay them to get their labs and stuff. And it's not because I think that they're great people, and it's because the companies want that. They want their people to continue their education. They want brand new engineers coming out, and they have stepped it up and performed greatly, and we really appreciate it. And we see Flow Labs as another niche part of where we're going next. Whether it be AI or this robotic, or however you want to talk about it. And so, we are in support of it. And so that's why we're here. And, we'd like to see what we can do to move this forward.
Very good.
Great. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Let's go around the room. I guess from my right, Pranad, and then Bakir, and quick
Hi everyone.
introductions.
Yeah. Nice to meet all of you. My name is Pranad. Uh, I'm part of the Space Initiative lead for Flow Labs here. And a little bit about me is I am right now a master's student at Georgia Tech, doing my master's in aerospace engineering. So to be in this room is honestly quite a privilege, to start off. Um, Yeah, I did my undergrad in aerospace engineering as well at University of Texas. And yeah, just happy to be here on this call and looking forward to, giving you guys a good presentation today.
Yeah, Pranod's on our space team. Thank you, Pranod Bakir. And
Hello,
Kim,
everyone. My name is Mohammed Bakr Nimr. I graduated as a computer and communication engineering in the Antonine University. Basically, like now, I am pursuing my PhDs. I'm working on Flow Labs on different teams, basically on the front end, back end, and the multimodal team. I am a team lead along with Indra. I'm her buddy. That's it for now.
thank you. Kim,
Hello, everybody. My name is Kim. I am the team lead for Mood Changer. So currently, I am an occupational therapist. So I've been working as a clinician, but on top of that, I'm also doing this internship also to expand more in technical skills. But for the most part, I'm very passionate in helping people in regards to assisting them with the new technological age that we're entering in. So, and I'll explain more of that later when I do my presentation. But it was really nice meeting you all, and I'll take it away.
you, Oliver.
I apologize for my sound. I'm gonna change in the middle of the meeting to avoid having this sound throughout the entire meeting. But I'm Oliver. I've been a member of Flow Labs since April last year, and I completed my internship in mid-September. I used to be a robotics team lead. I used to help lead the pretty much every team for some time. I learned a lot. I did a lot of automation. I was doing that for most of the time for also like most of my internship and even a bit after. And right now I'm doing mixed things. I still lead a little bit the some projects in the robotics team mainly because I'm an engineer since December in electrical engineering and computer science. Otherwise, I I'm an electrical engineer in computer science engineer in my the rest of the time. And yeah, so here at Philips, right now I'm doing I'm actually helping with the operations with the electronics and essentially yeah, I kind of have some extensive experience in electrical engineering, some mechanical engineering, and industrial engineering mostly. So yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank you. And Oliver graduated in Paris.
Yeah, I forgot to say that.
Spencer.
Hello, my name is Spencer Stickney. I graduated from Boise State University in Idaho with a mechanical engineering degree. Currently at Flow Labs, I'm one of the team leads specifically on the humanoid robotics project. And I've been here since late 2025. And I pretty quickly rose to the ranks here at Flow Labs, went from an intern to project manager to team lead, and been working on the humanoid project the entire time. So during this meeting, I hope to kind of inform everyone here about what we're doing, what our goal is, and where the project is hopefully going to go, and kind of our vision for the future of the humanoid robot here at Flow Labs.
Great. Thank you. Indra?
Hey everyone, I'm Indra. I'm from Brazil. I am current team lead with Bakir for the Flow Brain project. I am an intern since last December, and I am the robotics team as an overall. I'm grateful to be here and have this chat with all of you.
Great, thank you. I think that's it. If maybe if someone could just message Haroon, I'm not sure Haroon or maybe Elias was going to join us. They're working on our wearables team. But yes, so just to kind of set the stage a little bit, and Flow Labs Innovations Group. We've kind of rebranded under Innovations Group. We are, our model is a combination of experiential learning, vocational school for focused around AI and robotics, and um, and so we're um, really as we move forward, we're kind of looking at experiential learning combined with a venture studio model. So we have a lot of various projects that we're having planning stages, let's say, and we have a few projects that we're very focused on. And just to give you, we're headquartered in Austin, but we also I'm between Austin and Limnos. It's a Greek island in the northern Aegean, and I don't know if you're familiar with Limnos, but just to kind of show you where it's at, and it has some interesting history from the robotic standpoint. Because so this is the island where I'm currently at, and I live part of the year. It's to the north of us is Turkey, to the east, to the west, Greece, and so Limnos is this place right here. I live right here in Medina, but this is Iphistia, and Iphistia is an archaeological site. Iphistia dates back to 10,000 BC. It's an ancient city, 10,000 BC. And Iphistia is named after Hephaestus, who Hephaestus is the god of innovation. And he was the son of Zeus, who got kicked out of the kingdom, and he landed in Limnos. It was a volcanic island back in the day. And Hephaestus was the god of innovation and blacksmith. And he created the first robot called Talos. Talos was built to protect the island of Crete. And he'd walk around Crete 3 times a day, throwing rocks at the pirates. And Jason and the Argonauts came and convinced him to pull the nail out of his heel, and he pulled the nail out. And the ichor, the blood of the gods, drained out of him, and he fell to his death. Hephaestus also built the first AI called, so we know, Pandora, or Pandora's box. So there's lots of history here on our island. It's a virgin, undiscovered island in the northern Aegean. It's about 17,000 people that live on it. It's the 8th largest Greek island. And we're launching our lab here. Our first lab will be here on the island. It'll be a remote lab with cameras inside it, and our team members will be able to access our robots via the webcams and be able to communicate with them and virtually manipulate the robots from their homes and talk to the robots. And so that's kind of where we're at. And so I'll go around the room, and I think start off with Indra. Our core product is what we call the Flow Brain. And back in my career, I spent over a couple decades. I launched the first internet booking engine back in 1996, where you could make an airline reservation on the internet. And Admiral Inman was actually my funded me back then. So we've been friends for almost 30 years now. And so, yeah. And over that time, it was early days in the internet, and APIs hadn't really been developed at the time. We ended up getting funding and reincorporated in 2000, got funding by WorldSpan, which was a competitor to Sabre out of Dallas. And we were plugged into these systems, Sabre, WorldSpan, Amadeus. And we were providing technology to travel agencies and airlines, and we had an affiliate program. for over a decade, we were the leading travel tech company globally with customers in over 20 countries. And there's a lot of parallels to what I did back then and what we're doing now with our technology. Initially, we had developed a platform providing a white label to our customers, and then over time we developed a middleware where we integrated into our middleware APIs of the different global distribution systems like Sabre and WorldSpan and Amadeus. And we had over 60 low-cost carriers integrated, and we had hotels and other products and services integrated. And we provided an API out to our customers. We had a panel that any of the content on the back end or any developments on the front end could be turned on or off for any of our clients. And we had hundreds and thousands of affiliate and customer sites that we were powering. So what we're doing now with our technology is something very similar, but in the back end, instead of global distribution systems, there are LLMs, frontier models that we're going to be integrating, and a lot of the integrations that we're integrating are similar to what we did in the past. So Indra, if you want to take it away and show us a little bit about FlowBrain.
Yeah, let me share my screen here. Okay, so as said, the FlowBrain is a world model middleware that's accessible via APIs. And basically, you can call that it's an AI brand that works everywhere. So it's an intelligence layer where it will power different types of devices, and it will have a memory which will remember context from the user, and it will have multi forms of AI models that will perceive and understand the environment and the user intents. So what the main abilities that the FlowBrain will have is the dashboard with all the brain's activities and latest activities it had. A chat interface, which is the most important feature of the FlowBrain, which the user will be able to chat with a LLM and send images, use voice or text and things like that. Also, we will have a dashboard with the brain health. So if it's connected with devices and if it's online, would it get any errors? And one of the cool features is the memory, which creates a context of the user's chats, and it's not only a one-time chat thing. You can store context and it will remember throughout the whole system. So here we have some dashboards that the FlowBrain website, which is a website that we'll be able to configure and set up for the FlowBrain in itself, and it will show basically what's happening with the FlowBrain and if everything's working as intended, and where the last activities the FlowBrain worked on and things like that. And the most important part, that is the brain chat and the brain memory. So here on the left, you can see that we have a chat. We have an interface similar to all the other LLMs we have in the market, but it also shows the reasoning behind what the response that the FlowBrain gave, and also shows that which LLMs the FlowBrain used and what was the response it preferred, and the merge of the other LLMs responses. And here on the right, you can see our memory, and the memory visualization for the user will be in sort of a graph that will have the connections which, for example, if the user wants chat about horse, so what type of horses, for example, do we have in the world now? The FlowBrain will store the context of horse, and if for like 2 months later the user comes back to this, so what's the best horse breed I could buy? It will also store breed, horse, and it will connect those nodes as a graph, and the user will be able to see it in the memory visualization. So what we want to do is that FlowBrain will power different applications. For our MVP, we want to power our website. So what I just showed you guys with the chat interface, memory visualization, things like that. The FlowBrain, as I said, is an intelligent layer. So it is a multiple models connected, voice, text, and image or video. And those three main models will try to understand the environment the user is and understand what the user wants. And that makes us able to power different type of applications. For example, not only a website, but also a phone app and our wearable that's called Kaipo, and also our travel agent. And furthermore, in the future, we wanted to power robots and have also models for robot navigation and robot task planning. But also FlowBrain will be powered by other devices and apps integration. So to, for example, use in our Kaipo wearable, we will also have integrated health apps, so the user can store in the context of its health and other virtual assistant and other wearables. So it's all in one. We've done something similar when we talk about chat interface with LLM. That's our FlowMed Travel. It is an AI travel agent that we can talk to an AI and chat about going somewhere, and it will show a list of places that we can be and stay, and restaurants that we could eat and things like that. It takes a little bit the pressure of the user to search in every type of search engine where to stay and where to eat, what to do when traveling, and it all centralized in one easy and user-friendly conversation with AI. So we have this experience of doing a chat interface and a chat user experience with AI, and that's what we want to bring for the FlowBrain. Here in the FlowBrain project mainly, and in Flow Labs, we work as buddies and we have experiential learning. So we learn while doing, and we learn by practicing and through errors and right doings. One thing that I actually really like about Flow Labs is the respect of each member's time to learn and to practice what they supposed to do, and the tasks are well distributed, so we take account on what is the capability of each member to attribute a task for them. And furthermore, we use a buddy system, so we pair up people to maximize their learning, and sometimes we pair someone who really knows about a subject and another one that doesn't really know it, and they work together, sharing their experiences, sharing their knowledge, and both of them gain from this experience, from this buddy system. So this is our working philosophy. Here in the FlowBrain project, we are counting with multiple people doing the front end, the back end, and doing the multimodal perception part of the FlowBrain. I hoped you liked this presentation about the Flow Brain. If you guys have any questions about it, feel free to talk, and thank you very much for your attention.
Great, thank you, Indra. I saw Elias has joined us, so maybe we can go, Elias, if you want to introduce yourself. And
I will introduce Elias because he had essentially a surgery. He's not able to talk today, sadly, but he sent me his presentation. Elias is a student that is studying mechanical engineering right now, at PhD level, basically. And he's the one working on the hardware of Kaipo. He's been working on the new design of the hardware that we've come up with on the electronics, the case, and he's done a lot of the planning also on the project. So later on, in probably 5 minutes, I'll be able to present along with him, even though he cannot talk. He's sending me at the same time the material and stuff. So yeah, it's really nice to meet you all.
okay, great. So our wearable is basically a wearable pin with a speaker, a microphone, and a camera. And so we've been one of the projects when I first started this was to create that wearable. That was kind of one of the initial things. Now there's about a dozen companies that are creating these wearables. Most of them have just a camera and a speaker. They don't have, I'm sorry, they have a speaker and a microphone. They don't have a camera. So in the future, these wearables are going to be ubiquitous. Everybody's going to have one. Jonathan, maybe you remember back in the day, people were like, "Hey, you think a lot of people are going to be using one of these mobile phones here?" And in the future, streaming intelligence. You don't want to pull out your phone and point at something. You're going to have a pin on you that it's going to be your buddy. It's going to be always on, and it's going to be seeing and hearing what you're hearing. And so Kaipo is we're about to launch a dev kit, and it's basically an open source dev kit that we're going to be providing, and we're going to be targeting the corporate market and sports and in enterprise and as well as consumer. But I recently heard that Apple is also going to be, and this year is going to be launching a wearable pin, and so is OpenAI with their $2 billion purchase of one of that company from what's his name. But so anyway, it's they're going to be out there and they're going to be very useful products. But that's just one of our first initial hardware product that we're launching as we move forward. And the Flow Brain is going to be powering that, as well as our other embodied AI projects. So with Kim, if you want to talk a little bit about kind of Mood Changer and that kind of integrates Kaipo into it.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. All right. So again, hello everyone. My name is Kim and I am the team lead for this project. So we call ourselves as Mood Changer, and directly what we are, our message is to transform your mood one insight at a time. Oops. So here are the contents of this presentation. So by the end of this presentation, you should be able to know what is Mood Changer and what it does, and also who is it for, and the services that we provide, and also why would you choose us. So a little bit about us. Mood Changer is a single app that connects multiple smart systems into one place. So it's powered by Kaipo. It's a Chief Artificial Intelligence Productivity Officer with our Flow Brain in the center of it. And ideally, what we are imagining for Mood Changer is that it's going to be the people's personal AI assistant that boosts productivity, wellness, and lifestyle. So of course, we need to be able to back up like what are the challenges and why we are doing this. So I've listed a couple of things here. So the idea is that we wanted to help people to manage their health and wellness, and it should not feel like a full-time job. So the problem that we see is that there's a bunch of misguided solution if the person or the system that they are using don't know the user fully well. Like, there's so many things that goes into the person's daily activities. If there's no unified view of that looks like, then the person would most likely get a misguided solution. So, for example, I wanted to go in a park, but I don't really like crowded places. But, if I go on my GPS and just look up, oh, a park, but it's gonna show up a bunch of parks out there, but it does not really cater to what I necessarily wanted for that specific day and my own preference as well. So that's kind of like just like a very simple idea of what that looks like. And then we have poor performance outcomes. So performance typically declines when stress and overload disrupt prioritization, which leads individuals to allocate effort inefficiently and make lower quality decisions. So, with the problem with that is that making sure that the person is able to cater to other things without overstressing themselves, mainly because there's no structure, and also the person is not able to manage the workload and also the stress overall, which leads to poor performance outcomes. And then we got your functional imbalance. So that essentially means that the challenges in maintaining an appropriate distribution of effort across work, rest, and daily activities to support sustainable performance and well-being. Again, the person is not just what they do. The person also has its own preference. The person also has their own underlying conditions that they wanted to be in, not necessarily medical conditions, but when I mentioned that, it's more focused on, oh, this is my personality. This is how I adapt to things, and this is how I wanted to spend the rest of my time rather than being bombarded with a bunch of plans that I have no gain from it. So that's kind of like helping the person to kind of start prioritizing things and to promote functional balance. And then for a lot of the systems out there, there has been no continuous support. So a good example is ChatGPT. It does help with like storing the historical data, but the problem is that you always kind of have to reframe the conversation each time, like almost dumping it down to the point that you need to make sure that, oh, this is exactly what's happening, and I want you to give me the response. With Mood Changer, and again, when it is sponsored by FlowBrain, it's supposed to give you a real-time solutions that is also in alignment with exactly what's happening currently. So that's the challenges that's we've been looking at, and then here are the solutions. So Kaipo, or the FlowBrain, and WoodChanger, we work together to provide intelligent, personalized support, and that personalized insights enables tailored insights in regards to, again, like I mentioned, to give the person an accurate, relevant, and effective solutions to the normative issue, or even like nuance that's not usually catered to a lot of the systems that's out there. And then we also promote awareness, because that's one of the biggest thing that is a problem with adhering to any interventions. So promoting awareness not only physically but also psychologically, it helps us to understand the user's overall a view of life and also how they view themselves. It gives us a bit of more of understanding and provides us a clear, actionable insights about the person's current state and needs. And then, of course, with the unified systems, the as Indra had mentioned earlier, the Flow Brain is supposed to be able to power a bunch of other apps or system, as it's like acting like a central hub, and it gives us a Mood Changer an ability to be able to teach the model to be able to understand that, oh, the user is actually operating under this model currently, but there's multiple models that goes with it as well. So having a unified system that looks into all of these models allows us to create a very tailored recommendations or suggestions. And the best thing about that is that if the person is not able to provide a proper prompts to the AI, then it's not probably going to be as accurate as possible. But with a unified system that allows um, the the technology or the computer to do it for you, you don't necessarily need to do as much. But it's one of those things that we're still also working on. And of course, we have the 24/7 personal assistant. So it's ideally that's exactly what I mentioned in the beginning with AI that continuously interprets personal data and context, and it provides timely, personalized guidance that supports decisions, health, and performance. So, who are we doing this for? Of course, the people, because we wouldn't exist if we weren't, it's for the people. So, we wanted to improve quality of life and well-being. And I kind of just listed like generally what that looks like. It's important to understand in this context. So, the mind and body,
Kim,
like,
Kim, just we're running a little out of time, so if you could just try to go a little quicker.
yeah, of
Thank you.
course. So as I mentioned, so the connection between mind and body is very important, psychological also and productivity. And then we got your athletes. So we're generally part of the four people population, but it's just more that we are offering more advanced features within the Mood Changer that will specifically help optimize athletic performance. So that means like physiological optimization, performance readiness, and we have the personalized training. And then here are the wearables.
Just quickly, similar
Yeah.
to athletes, our astronauts deal with a lot of physiological changes in space. So there is a huge effort ongoing with the space station and the crews that we send to understand their health and performance. And I've got a sister group that does exercise equipment for them. So it is a considerable effort right now to keep people healthy in space. So if you're looking for other targets for this, that might be something to go do a little investigating in.
Oh, yeah, that sounds a really good idea. Yeah, thank you so much, Jonathan. I'll go ahead and move forward. So here are the wearables. So this is kind of like going back again with, the target audience here, the athletes, and also for the people. We use sensors, and here are the list of the sensors that are going to be included in the wearable. This is the vest that we are looking into developing, and also the wristband to kind of like help people, keep it on them 24/7, or especially if you're an athlete, you are most likely going to be wearing the vest when you are on game or when you're training. So it really helps us like understand what these biometrical factors that are being collected by the sensors here. And then here are, I'm just going to skip through this because this is just like what the trajectory looks like for the wearables. And as you can see, there's a tremendous, huge jump by 2032. And here are the benefits of overview. So Indra kind of already went over these to have the connectivity and integration, health and wellness, and it's designed for efficiency and also ergonomic protocols. And here are the process of what that looks like. So we take the biometric data from the wearable. So as I mentioned, it collects the raw data, the heart rate, heart variability, blood pressure, movement in general. There's so much more, but and then those raw data is going to go through ingestion and normalization phase. And what essentially does is create a state of infusion layer that develops a unified schema that allows us to be able to relate it to a specific model. And then when it's related to a specific model, then that's we integrate what that looks like for the person specifically. So we develop a capacity evaluation that includes detecting the deviations and related to normal physiological values and user historical baseline, because a person may have normally higher heart rate, but that could be their baseline, but that's not necessarily the normal value for the general public. But the problem is that we would always have to relate it back to multiple other multiple other models that makes up that person to be able to push a specific suggestion. So it really depends on the baseline, also what is normal, and also again, tying it all into multiple models that is being collected by the FlowBrain. And as I mentioned here, the biometric data plus the historical data is going to help us interpret the mood and the physiological states. And then from there, the AI makes a suggestion. So, for example, oh, the user is not actually able to attend a specific meeting because the person had not looked at or did not have a better understanding that they are already fully booked the next day. And the load of each of those presentation may take a lot of time. So overbooking may not be the best way to do it. But the problem is that the user may have been going through a lot of stress and work overload that they did not understand what that looks like at the moment, and they already said yes. So again, that's the whole point of Mood Changer, to kind of improve the productivity, overall wellness, and improve the overall lifestyle. So again, why choose us? We Mood Changer view you as a whole person. You have all of these roles right here. You're a family member, you're a friend, you're an employee, you're a student, part of community. All of these things are part of your responsibilities. But what makes us important is that we help the user to make better decisions, and we exist not just as a tool, but as the user's second brain. That's it for me. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Oliver, do you want to, but really
Yeah.
much quicker?
I'm gonna
Just the mood changer, we're building our strap and some other wearables. We're also looking at some glasses and third-party wearables that are already out there. But the whole point is, people have these wearables, but they need real-time analytics. They need someone to talk to you. Hey, this is what's going on. Not only that, but having our universal memory and FlowBrain, where it has all your history of all your sensor data, where it can look at patterns and be able to make sense of it. Data analytics for your sensors with real-time coaching. That's what's missing from the market to really change people's health and get their health to the next level, health, athletes, etc. So, okay, Oliver, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna speed run the presentation of Kaipo. So as you have seen, Kaipo is basically an aggregator of APIs and tools that build a model of the user, its tools, and its whole environment. The Kaipo API is the way for the FlowBrain to interact with the world, and the embodiment of the Kaipo API, so our AI basically, is the Kaipo wearable. So it's for now a dev kit. We have some plans of expanding this. This is basically the open source embodiment of the FlowBrain. So as it was presented before, an intelligent companion that listens, thinks, protects the user, and pretty much boosts the work capacity, so and the productivity. The features, very basic, and always on mode to always essentially be available for the user. We count with a pretty big battery for the kind of device we're building, an AI mode that can essentially give a reliable, essentially use and very usable AI response based on the user data that's very personalized. It's basically a second brain for the user that's always available to be used. And this is the device. The picture doesn't really fit the current paradigm that we went with, but this is the old model. And basically, it contains a powerful ARM processor, a Raspberry Pi basically inside, with a camera. It will have speakers. We also wanted to have a screen. It will have a touch sensor, and it will basically be very modular, like Lego blocks, in the sense that if you want to change something about it, since it will be a dev kit, and before anything, an open source device, the community or you as a person can simply change whatever you want from it. These are the electronics, also very simple. I mean, if basically it's a big processor that's pretty powerful, the Raspberry Pi Zero. It has a microcontroller, a power management system, the audio system with basically speakers and a microphone to be able to interact with the device through voice, a touch sensor and a LED indicator, and a way to plug it to a computer to be able to program it or get data from it. Basically, it also should enable to kind of play with the Kaipo AI and the FlowBrain environment. we built this device as a community first device, essentially trying to give all the tools to the community to improve the device over time and organically. So you can start without programming it. You can use it straight away. You simply assemble or get the dev kit assembled with the permit software, the Kaipo API, and all the basic access. If you want to change anything, you have all the documentation to improve the device or see how it's made. We really aim to standardize the Kaipo API as essentially the main tool that anyone can use to connect the LLM or the AI tool of the choice to the memories, the tools they use in a really easy way. And as I mentioned, community first device. So you can change anything you want, or you can upgrade anything you want, and pretty much even build a completely different device from what the Kaipo dev kit is, because we provide all the tools and all the secret sauce to improve it. This is one of the current designs we are looking at right now. We are essentially trying to be very creative with the designs, essentially to encourage the community to come up also with their own designs. We want Kaipo to not only be an AI embodiment device, but also a fashion statement. So we plan on releasing the dev kit first and improve the hardware, the software, the backend, the front end from there, based on the feedback from the community, on the suggestions from them. Then kind of crowdsource a better device that will be more custom made, that won't allow for as much modularity in terms of the hardware, but it will allow for a more compact design. And then phase 3 will be a wide consumer device. That will be for the future. But you have to keep in mind that all these phases, the idea is to never change the AI experience throughout the entire process. The only thing that will change is the consumer, basically, who will use the device and how they will use them. For the dev kit, usually it will be people that would want to improve the device, customize it, usually engineering students, or anyone who has an idea on how to improve their AI companion. And the next other devices will be for people who just want to use it and just want something that works out of the box, basically probably most of the population. And as Kim already mentioned, so I won't extend on this, Kaipo is meant to be for athletes. What we meant for athletes, we don't mean for a specific sport, but for, as Jonathan mentioned, anyone that needs feedback from the data that's coming from the measurements that were made throughout their physical activity. We want Kaipo to also give feedback either live or delayed on what it sees. So essentially, it's so that it can learn from watching the user if it doesn't have any other inputs, even though we also are building an AI aggregation system that will allow to connect other wearables. Basically, you'll be your coach. You'll monitor your vitals. It will tell you what you can improve to enhance your performance, and give you essential information that can really improve from even a 20% an athletic performance, and which can be translated to a win or a loss, depending on what level of athleticism you are in. Kaipo is also meant to take care of people, as also Kim mentioned. It should also help you be a memory in case you forget things often. If you have a medical condition that doesn't allow you to memorize as sharply as when you were young, or simply you don't memorize well, it can help you with that. It can be a second brain. It can be a safety device. It'll be able to detect falls through an MCU. You'll be able to track someone if you want to use it as a protection and therapy device for elderly people or people that are that have special medical conditions that doesn't allow them to have as much freedom of movement as they want. And we aim to also use this device as a device that can adapt to any ecosystem. We're not Apple, we're not Microsoft, we're not Samsung. We don't have an ecosystem that already belongs to us. So we don't actually also have any incentive to use one specific environment, meaning that we can really provide a device that can be almost as Linux, really tailored to any system or environment that you want, with some ideas we have already in mind. Basically, regarding space, we aim for Kaipo to be, as a starter, an astronomer body. Basically, if you want to watch the stars or get information about the universe in general, you can have a space body. It also should help you to learn faster. Since AI can explain anything and tailor the explanation to you, it can be also a teacher. It can also explain your lessons because it can record the lessons. It can be your lawyer. It can help you in legal matters by essentially integrating a lot of documentation and other lawyer AIs. And it can also help you take care of your brain by essentially being your second brain, help you remember things, help you do even exercises to improve your memory, and even improve your diet, your lifestyle, and at the same time improve your health. Right now, to improve this embodiment device, the embodied AI device, we have the IoT team, basically this team working on embedded systems, robotics, and with also mechanical engineers, as Spencer, and LIS. We have the multimodal perception team with Indra as a team lead, and essentially it's the team working on the AI models that will be there to interpret the different inputs that will be coming from the device, like audio, video, and maybe in the future also text through other input methods. And then we have also other specialized teams that take care of the other aspects that have to be taken care of, like the legal, the neuroscience team, space science team, even the marketing team, and the design team to also design, of course, the case and the other accessories that be also part of the Kaipo environment. This is the speedrun presentation of Kaipo. I hope it was clear. If not, I can answer questions.
Great. Spencer, do you want to go about the humanoids, and then we can do the space with Pranad? And yeah, Kaipo, again, it's all, a lot of the back end is about universal memory. And as we look to see, there's going to be a lot of solutions out there. Our solution is basically a black box going after the enterprise market, and whether it's Kaipo, that you can put any type of sensors in it, we'll be able to customize it, or the straps and other wearables that we have. Those are all a list of sensors, black box that you can add, and we can not only provide the technology, but through Mood Changer, we're going to be launching kind of a consulting service with our sports scientists, our data science team, and others, where we will also take the data, analyze it, understand it, and make recommendations. So we're not just a tools company, but we're also providing humans in the loop to help address that gap. Spencer?
Yep. Well, before I begin, I want to give a quick FYI. You're going to get a mechanical engineer's presentation. I don't have the fancy slides, so you're going to see all the raw data. You're going to see, well, I'm currently working and all that. Yep. Thank you, Jonathan. You probably understand this. So to begin, I'm going to share my screen. So kind of begin, I want to give an overview. The humanoid robot that we're currently working on is for the service industries, hotels, restaurants, home cleaning service. But we're also looking into rental services for events. Basically, if you're holding a big event, you can rent out one of our robots to be maybe a butler or waiter at the event. Also looking farther ahead, but these robots are going to be modular. We aim to do modular arms for different weightlifting. Say I'm lifting up a light box, or maybe I'm lifting up a heavy object. I need a different arm for that purpose. Different hands, maybe a basic gripper again for a box, or maybe you need all 5 fingers to do an oblong or very weird object. And finally, different torsos if you need to, say, maybe you're just transporting from one location to other. You don't really need to change height or where it's placed, so you could just get away with a basic torso. Or maybe you need a torso that can raise and lower itself, so then it can put something on a shelf, it can put something in a particular location. Robotics is a mixed bag of disciplines. We are materials research, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers. We're all over the map. And to give you an idea of what that looks like, you can see here we have software research into Gazebo, Pipe, Bullet, Mojico, and Isaac Sim. We have materials research looking at, what materials are strongest in our situations. We're going to be having research into infill patterns because we're looking into 3D printing. We even have product development research and current product on the market research, cost of development research. So we're doing all over the place as we are definitely on the cutting edge of services and especially robotic services. So we're doing a lot of research looking into what rules we need to follow, what principles we need to apply. We're doing it basically same as Injure with the buddy system, but we're doing it a bit differently where we use the strengths of the person, we give them tasks that they're strong at, and then we just keep building on those strengths with similar tasks, but moving them up the chart. So I am a mechanical engineer. I have been really good into mechanical design, so I've been adding more into the research of the materials, more research into the hardware, more research into there to just continuously build myself up. And I'm doing the same for all the other team members. And so we are working very fast. And as John mentioned with the lab in Limnos, we are hoping to get a robotic arm up and built so that when the Limnos lab is there, we can start begin physical training, essentially moving the arm around and capturing those movements and putting them into simulation like Isaac Sim so we can really train that robotic arm and then put that to our torso. And now we have a fully functional humanoid robot. To give you an understanding of what we're currently working on, this is our robotic arm. We've taken this from an open source project and we're working with the material properties. We're looking at reducing the material weight, reducing the material stresses, making sure that the parts that are 3D printed on this robot can even survive, especially this midsection here. This is a gearless gearbox. It uses a peg system to spin itself, and we're making sure all the individual smooth bore gears and the little inserts aren't. We're making sure they can survive their wear and tear throughout their life cycle. Of course, we're upgrading the bolts and looking instead of at aluminum, we're looking at steel bolts because of, again, wear and tear systems. And we're looking at also, to talk about this, our humanoid hand, again, also open source with Ruka. We are looking at this because of its control systems and the way it's designed. It's very basic, but it's also very simple to put together, cost effective, and again, it's only 7 hours worth of assembly. You can see here how it kind of grips. It's able to conform to different profiles, so it's able to grab onto different objects, how it's programmed and how it works, and it's all available open source without any additional cost. So we are very, very interested in what we really want to do is make a good service industry robot where we can customize for the events it goes to, but also be a cheap and effective robot so that if something breaks, we can replace it, and also a robot that can be used, again, at every event that it goes to.
Great. Thank you, Spencer. Spencer, can you show robocollective.ai, our website, real quick? Jonathan, I might have mentioned to you that when we met, I lived 3 months in China last year, at the beginning of the year between Hangzhou, Shanghai, and Shenzhen. And I was on a robot tour of China, meeting with all the top robot companies. And so we're launching robocollective.ai, which basically we're representing 8 top robot companies, Limex, Unitree, etc. And so we're going to, with our learners that are global, currently we have over 60 simultaneous. We're going to be growing in the next couple of months to 100 plus, and in the next 12 months we're hoping to get to the 200 to 300 simultaneous learners. So we'll have a kind of a global presence, and we want to go into the universities and other academic institutions and commercial with these robots. We simultaneously we're building our humanoid that we plan to build on top of a chassis from one of these companies in China that we're working with, probably Autoxing.
I see.
And what our intent is to build a 3D printed low-cost humanoid on top of that chassis. That chassis we can get it like at $2,500. It's pretty inexpensive, and it does a lot of the tech is already there with our AI and a 3D printed humanoid that really is about manipulation. 80% of the tasks don't require lifting heavy objects, folding things, moving things. We're already starting to see some of these humanoid companies that are closing down after raising millions of dollars. So, there's a lot of competition. It doesn't make sense for a US robotics company to be competing against Unitree. They're so advanced. You're not going to build a better, cheaper robot than what they're already building. Our focus is on manipulation, the flow brain, and really manipulating these robots. So once we have our humanoid robot, we're going to just add it to the Robo Collective and sell it alongside. We really want to be more of a kind of a Disney engineering, really where we take these robots and like this Unitree Robo Dog and add a different skin on it, 3D printed, maybe make it a Robo Hippo or a Robo Cat or a Texas Longhorn, and just reskin these robots. We didn't even launch our website. We've already had 5 requests for rentals from people that were having events. And so we're looking at kind of a rental line of business as well alongside this. So okay, who's next here? Pranad, last but not least, our space team and some of the projects we're looking at launching within the space sector.
Yeah. So obviously I'll try to make this pretty quick as well. So basically, let me start with sharing my screen. Let's see if I can find this.
Yeah, and while he's pulling that up, we have a number of various teams. We're now launching a quantum team. We know quantum is coming out of the lab into production. As we are building robots and these wearable devices, how can we take quantum and really create more powerful encryption, of course, is a big factor as we move forward. But okay, Pranad, go ahead.
Yeah, so like I said, I'll go kind of quick through these and basically the Flow Lab Space Initiative. What you heard so far today about Mood Changer, Kaipo, FlowBrain is basically the heart of Flow Labs, and this is a ambitious idea that we do have that we really do want to explore, specifically tying into the space industry. All right, so first thing is, of course, the idea is with Flow Labs that you've heard so far, we're diving our foot into multiple different things along with this. So the idea is like Flow Labs, we're not trying to like push forward a product. We're trying to make a whole ecosystem as well. So today, what you're going to hear is a few things is talking about our Space Ventures Institute, which our website has just launched. A Space Buddy, which is like an AI space co-pilot that we would like to visualize for it to come to life. Of course, knowing like what our like robotics team is doing with Kaipo, being able to incorporate some level of that software, some level of that inclusion into the Space Buddy idea. A app idea that we do have called Space View, which is similar to the app like Skyview. I hope you heard of it. If not, like I'll definitely mention that. Natura Reserve integration. Talking about space travel, space tourism, making like a whole travel agency website accessible for consumers, and our very own space summit. So basically like a space conference, essentially. So with the Space Venture Institute, what I do want to point out is that it's basically an institute where people begin their journey into space technology. So we want students to work in space, but also if they don't know where to start. And I think this also we believe this idea is very well integrated with the funding opportunity that NASA has with having to work with high school CTE centers or community college CTE programs, and being able to integrate instead of like doing some kind of isolated learning, just focus on building some kind of platform, some kind of skill, hard skill that students could actually like develop, even if it's one or two kind of hard skills, whether it's a new language, like a coding language, or whether it's learning um, a new part about space that is integral for joining the space industry in a way. Just giving that platform for students to do is just the idea of turning curiosity into capability, you can say. I'm just going to dive. I don't want to go into the next thing. Can I
Can you
click this
go to Space
website?
Ventures Institute website real quick, Pranad?
Yeah, I'm trying to click it. There we go. Can you guys see this page?
Okay, yeah.
All right. Alrighty. So this page, like we just launched this website. Basically, um, it's basically what it is. The Space Force Institute website is just being, the option to do like remote first and bringing the, um, how would you like to say this? Like it's basically like a studio just bringing a learning institution forward and being a bridge between, providing talent and just real-time space economy like projects to students as well. I think
Yeah, what
yeah, go
what
ahead,
we're
John.
trying to do with breaking down Space Ventures Institute, we have Legal Ethics Ventures Institute, Data Ventures Institute,
Hmm.
all of our verticals, we're going kind of like a university has their main website and then they have sites for different schools. So with each one of these, there's the ventures implies ventures that we're working on, and the institute implies experiential learning. So Space Ventures Institute is launching with Kaipo and the Flow Brain. What can we use those products in the space sector? So hence the Space Buddy and the Space View, where you can take Kaipo and just point it, and not only will it tell you that you're looking at the Big Dipper, but it'll tell you the history. It's going to be an AI powered to help inspire people to get more into space and people like me that are just and so many people that are interested in space but need a tool to be able to help them understand it better and be more inspired. Um, so so that's basically what the website's for, and really to focus our Flow Labs innovations group. We have a certain internship. People will have that on their resume, but if they want Space Ventures Institute on their resume, it's an extra 150 hours, and it's a specialty that you have to focus 600 hours in the space sector program, so you get hands-on experience working only on space-related projects. And so that's really kind of what our model is regarding all the different venture institutes that we're going to be launching. So, okay, back to your presentation, Pranad.
Yeah, thank you, John, for that. Yeah, so moving on, that's basically the idea of the institute website, and we believe that will actually be like we believe that put Flow Labs at a good starting point in order to move forward with the opportunity to apply for that funding opportunity. And going on into this, we're talking about our Space Buddy, which, like John mentioned, like the Space Force Institute is incorporating everything that Flow Labs has, is like the Kaipo, the Mood Changer, like everything that we got going. This one right here is just talking more about a space-specific AI use. Uh, Mostly it's obviously designed for, of course, any kind of general use consumers, but mainly students, educators, hopefully dealing with those curiosity minds who are very interested in space. The main idea of this whole thing is to essentially like bring space forward and not just like make it like a participatory event like for everyone, because people who are not in the industry, people who are not like in the like specifically working with any kind of space related project, they're kind of distant with what's going on with the space world today, and there's so much going on with like the new lunar program that's going on as well, right? And moving on into this, tying that into this, sorry, is the Space Buddy is like incorporating that so like students and educators can get a idea about what's going on today. And the core feature we want to use the Space Buddy in is an app that I would like to call Space View. Obviously the name is definitely not solidified in stone yet. But basically I took inspiration from the app called Skyview, which is a cool iOS app where you can point your phone, even like right now from my room to the sky, and it shows you based on your location, your geolocation, what stars are right now above you, what constellation you're looking at. Is there a satellite close by to you? What planet is nearby? It's a pretty cool software. But what I want to like make difference with using SpaceView is not only just identify the planets, stars, constellations, but it also incorporates that space by the AI to make it interactive in order to you can ask live explanations like John was saying, instead of just showing you what Big Dipper is, you can ask it's about its history, you can ask about like how the constellation formed, what exactly are each star's name in the constellation, and so forth. John, do you have any other words you want to add on about this?
No, just you can go ahead.
Yeah. And the next thing I do want to attack is our TOL, which is our robotics and real robotics and embodied AI. The way you look at it, if Space Buddy and like Hypo is like the intelligence, TOL is like the intelligence embodied. TOL basically expands our work into like robotics and embodied AI. This also ties in heavy with like what Spencer was talking about with humanoids that Flow Labs is working on. Just
Pranav, do you want to pull up Charles' website real quick? And so
yeah, absolutely.
Charles stands for Texas Advanced Robotics Research Lab, and I had a number of meetings earlier last year with the head of Heron, Hellenic Organization for Advanced Robotics. Heron is part of a cluster with another organization in Italy and Germany. They recently raised 30 million euros, 15 million from the EU and 15 million from the Greek Hellenic Organization. And they're hiring about 150 people, 120 PhDs that will be doing research. But we're partnering with them, and we're going to kind of be the Texas, their U.S. Part of their cluster. And what's important for us is as we launch TARL, it'll really be focused on PhDs, postdocs, and we're going to take a lot of the research that we've been doing right now and move that to TARL, where we have, say, architects and people that are more advanced levels to be working on these projects, and then those projects will be handed off, and the implementation will be done by other interns, learners. So TARL will be very specific. It'll also be it'll be remote first. And the beauty of what we're doing remote first is scalable, and we can maximize the number of learners that we have compared to a land-based. Although we do want to have a land-based in Corpus Christi. Earlier I was talking to David and to the head of Career Center, and they're saying, well, we might be able to get you next summer like 20 interns. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I was hoping for hundreds. Because we want to grow to hundreds and thousands. We think we have a great opportunity right now. We're the only AI robotics vocational school like this of its kind. All of our team leaders here that you see, all of our teams are learner led, and everybody here is non-paid. They all have skin in the game. Some of them with the revenue that we're going to be generating from these products, we're going to fund our Earn and Learn program. So most of our team leaders, all of our team leaders in the future, and a lot of our other team members will be compensated and will be able to earn while they learn through the apprenticeship and other programs that we offer. But Charles is very important for us, and Chancellor Sharp and Admiral Inman. We've had discussions with them about TARL, and since we're Texas-based, and most of the space economy is based out of Texas, and Corpus Christi, if we do some land-based, it's right between NASA and Starbase.
Yep.
So we think we're at an ideal location to really look at how we can take TARL. TARL is a little different than, say, a university and some of these others, where they're looking at taking their IP and licensing it. we are open source. We're an open source community, open science like NASA. We want everything to be very open and transparent. Even some of our podcasts that we're going to be doing as our team, we're going to be launching them on our YouTube channel. Our entire meetings that we're having, we're going to be launching that so people can like look and see what's going on at Flow Labs and what are we developing and what our learners are communicating and et cetera. So yeah, so that's a little bit about TARL. Admiral Inman and Chancellor Sharp will both be joining the board. And so we really want to see how Jonathan, you and NASA, we can get involved in TARL as we launch it.
Yeah, so thank you to the entire team here for presenting your work today. It's all very, very interesting, and I'm glad to see it's providing opportunities for y'all to learn and grow and get that strong technical foundation. As you come out of university or continue your studies, it's one of the things that I stress very, very heavily with my new hire engineers is getting your technical foundation and everything else builds upon that. TARL, I think, is probably the most likely target for the Next Gen STEM announcement that I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
Pranad, can you stop sharing the screen, please?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I wrote down several of these websites you mentioned, but I'm going to have to go do the Mother May I on the NASA Internet Firewall for a couple of them for future review. They're just new and not on our whitelist yet. But let me drop in the chat just so everybody's got a copy of it. So this is the solicitation that came out a few weeks ago, and I reached out to John following our conversations at ICRA last year in Atlanta. Because several of the things that we talked about then really resonated with me, trying to develop the vocational workforce and the non-degreed workforce to make all these things happen. So as we went through your portfolio, the common theme was that you've got to have people to build these things and have the skills to do prototyping and assembly work and troubleshooting, repairs. And those are things that I have to do in my robotics development work day to day. So I have a very talented tech workforce, but they are getting old and close to retirement. So actually one of them has already retired once and decided to come back and work with us. And we don't see the programs necessarily for developing those skills in the same way that, at least in the United States, engineering has been a major focus at the university level. I think the new College of Engineering that David is leading at Corpus is a good example of how the American university system has expanded for more engineers. That was a huge effort in the early 2000s when I was at A&M, just trying to ratchet up the number of graduates. But I think the part that we missed was the hands-on technical workforce. So right now, when I need to get technicians in to do micro soldering, surface mount soldering, these are for my tech dev work as well as for some of my flight work. We have to go hire those people that have like the fundamental skills and the interest. And then we got to do a huge effort to onboard them and train them in, some of the NASA specific and spaceflight specific techniques. It's the same with the robotics, right? It's a little different than what you would have in just general electronic soldering. So TARL, I think, could be a really good opportunity to experiment with some of that. Is if you are going to have a large fleet of robots in this lab, you got to have somebody to work on them as well. And I would leave it up to y'all to decide, is that a skill set you want to impose on the the university students, that might be looking at this, or do you want a separate group that is focused on sort of the hands-on repair and build up? So let me stop there and kind of get your feedback.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now we have Addy, who started with us actually 2 years ago when we started, and he was 15. He's 17 now, and he's a senior in high school. And we have people that are in their 50s that are career changers, and everything in between. Most of our team members are college engineers and graduates, or masters. But so we are open to whoever wants to join and learn the skills that we're providing, basically. So which is, come in and help us move the needle on these projects.
And I think the experiential approach is something very unique that you're doing. It's not sit down and read a textbook and listen to lectures. I think the hands-on is great. I think it reflects the way that people want to learn in many cases. So
we do have a master class. So we have a general master class, and then we have a developer master class, a robotics master class, and then we have modules. So that master class is meant for, like, if someone is a back-end developer, we have a module for AWS, that they got to take that module, and we have a beginners and advanced. So with all the simulation software and everything. So we have a structure like, okay, take this master class and do these modules if you're going to be working on that stuff, so we're not wasting people's time learning something that they're not going to use. So we do have that theoretical, and that master class is made up of stuff that's out there on the internet, that's on YouTube, that's free, that's thought leaders have already developed that. We're not going to do any better putting our own content together. We found the best content that's out there, and we've added that to the master class. So we have that. That's the theoretical, and then we've got a lot of these projects to learn by doing.
Yeah, excellent. So let's see, when was this opportunity due? So it's due at the, let's see, March 20th. So there's some time there. So what I might encourage you and the group to think about is, looking through the details of this opportunity and what could it help you expand on what you're currently doing to try to, enhance what you're offering and meet the needs of what NASA has identified, as we, try to grow our own, exploration activities, as well as supporting groups that are in the Texas space ecosystem. This is, of course, I'm pointing at my other monitor here, but this is, nationally focused, but the state of Texas has had a huge investment to the tune of like $350 million over the previous biennium for our legislature. And I think just this week they announced the last few awardees out of that initial pot, but I understand that they want to continue doing those types of grants to grow the space economy and the space workforce here in the state of Texas. And I realize that, you have contributors from around the globe, but I think some of what you have learned through your other ventures could feed this very effectively.
Well, I wanted to take the opportunity because when I looked at the proposal, and actually I was in the meeting that they had, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? The webinar, and it sounded, I couldn't tell if there was a fit with what we were doing. It sounded like you needed kind of like electrician type people that are, like you said, soldering or doing whatever, and certainly and that's why I wanted David and our Corpus Christi team to be here, because we could do something on the ground in Corpus Christi tomorrow. We have office space available, and we could partner with them or the community college there, because I saw it's a community college focus and not necessarily university. So we have that possibility, but we want to move down that path and do that. But right now our focus is, how do we scale? And we scale through doing an online as much as possible, remote first with a remote lab where people can access. But part of the plan for Corpus Christi was to have students from Corpus Christi, from the college there, and from Texas A&M that would come in, do an internship with us, and they would actually be in the lab and doing it from there rather than remotely or in combination.
Yeah, so I think you could still put forth a proposal for that type of work, because they do talk about technicians and electricians and those types of things, and that's important. But I don't think that it would be limited to that. I think if you brought forth an insightful proposal, talking about maybe people that need to do robot programming, maybe more so than robotics engineering, I think you could have you can make a case for that. Does that make sense? I think
Okay, well,
traditionally, I feel like robotics has been much.
If you
much
say that, it's not in the documentation, so that it wasn't really clear, and that's why I was a little confused.
So just the program description that I'm looking at here talks about skilled technical workforce, and it's people who do not have a bachelor's degree. And I think you could probably say that maybe your second career type of folks that you were talking about a moment ago, but they require science and engineering skills. So they just quoted the National Science Board here talking about welders and electricians and so forth. And I think it's just examples, but if you brought forth a compelling idea, I think they would have to consider it. But anyhow, this is just an opportunity that I wanted to bring to your attention. If it's not the right fit with what Flow Labs is trying to achieve, that's fine. I don't think that today has been a waste of time or anything. But I would, following our conversation, I definitely thought of you, the first couple of folks that came to mind. So maybe the team can take a look at it and see if there's a way you could expand your work. I think it was to the tune of $500,000 a year for 3 years, and I think you could do a lot with that, based on what I've seen over the last hour and a half.
Yeah, and so that 500,000, would that be like allocated to funding our say our team leads are basically the educators, let's say, and then we'd have other people that are coming in and kind of learning? Is that the model? Because we have free office space at Texas A&M in Corpus Christi, so there's some things that we don't need. We also have the city behind us, and the economic development. We actually have been planning to open up a part of our proposal with Corpus Christi is to launch a robo hub, an educational robo hub where people can come in and do robot manipulation and have 3-on-3 soccer and boxing, where they can come in and basically play sports with each other and kind of learn that, and then take the robots and do performances at the Performing Arts Center and do like with robots that are performing robo shows.
Yeah. So as I read through it, it didn't seem to prescribe how they wanted, if it's government money, there's always some strings attached, but I think it could be used for outfitting a lab or supporting staff to develop one of these initiatives. And, from my previous experience doing, NASA proposal reviews, if we saw that somebody has already kind of gotten the ball rolling, and that if NASA contributes some tax dollars to really get it started and push it over the edge, that was always very favorably viewed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, there is a place for us to, provide that foundational support, but NASA, with the limited budget that we have, is always looking for force multipliers and ways to, collaborate, get farther down the road together.
Mhm. Okay, well, I think if there's an opportunity, we'd like to pursue it. Spencer, you were in that meeting, also that webinar. Do you have any questions? Because I want to have you kind of lead this, be one of the leads on this proposal if we're going to move forward, because we have a month and it's going to be a lot of work, to throw something together in a month.
They do give example like proposal templates and things, so I think you'd get a bit of a leg up, but go ahead.
Yeah, I saw you guys have proposal templates and stuff like that. And so honestly, I don't have any questions. That would have been my one question, is if there was a proposal template. I seem to have lost the link. Jonathan, could you put it in the chat for me if you could?
Of course.
That would be nice. So then I could save it.
Oh, I did put it in the chat. It was the last link that I sent about 10 or 12 minutes ago. It's
Okay.
the
Oh, yeah.
inspires.nasa PRS.
Okay, yeah, I see him. Okay.
So that is the overall sort of like homepage for this solicitation. And then over on the right-hand side, you'll see the formal documentation, and then they also put those webinar slides up from the other day.
Perfect.
So should we apply as Tarl?
I would let you decide what business entity is the right one. But Tarl spoke to me and the things that I am interested in from the robotics perspective. We recognize that robotics is only going to get bigger as the industrial market matures. And right now, we talk about, at least in the US, a shortage of, like automotive technicians and electricians and plumbers and so forth. And, those are in established, mature fields. So I think that as robotics continues to expand, there will be more need for those particular trades as relevant to robotics. I think I assume that up in the Midwest, right, there's a large workforce, associated with automotive, right, that have some of those skills, but that's not enough for what is coming, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty significant for what it looks like. I guess, we definitely want to move forward if there's an opportunity. I'm not sure if, maybe on your end, if you could just check to see if there's a fit with what we're doing. And, we'll expand the proposal to where we want to do kind of a land base in Corpus Christi and do some training on campus over there, as part of our proposal. But, so, and we can target, US Americans from all over the United States, basically, because we're remote based, right? So I think that's a huge advantage. And our cost structure, we can, like I said, we get people that really are team members, 60 plus right now. And the difference in, our learners are, our team members are really passionate about what they're doing, and they're looking at this from how I want to invest in learning and my future in my career. And they're not like, bro, I'm not getting paid for this, dude. I went to 4 years of college for this, bro. So we have a lot different mindset. I think if you look at all of our team members, they're like lifelong learners and people that are really passionate about innovation. And that's the type of people that we want to attract. We're not for everybody, but we are for a lot of people that are interested in working on these cutting edge technologies.
It's the same. I see a lot of the same characteristics that I do in my workforce, right? People that are motivated by hard problems, that want to learn and solve things and make the world better, right? It's not, we are not typically staffed with people that are motivated by financial return.
Yeah,
We
well,
don't
of course,
get
you're
paid.
Yeah,
But
you're in NASA, so of course people are gonna like want to just like Elon, in SpaceX, and it's like selling the vision and to do something that has meaning and purpose. Because I think for us that are a little older, we're looking for to doing something in our careers that have some meaning and purpose. But see a lot of younger people too, like on our team that also have that same passion, and see people that are interested in medical field. A lot of those people have that type of mindset. They really want to do something for others. And so I think space is really, I was fortunate growing up. I was my best friend and when I was like 17 was Todd Musgrave. His father was Story Musgrave. And you might know Story. He went to space 6 times on all 5 shuttles. I saw him take off from Cape Canaveral 3 times, 2 night launches and a day launch, and I saw a landing at Edwards in the Mojave Desert. And I was I've always been passionate about space, and when I was in Sofia, I was living in Bulgaria for about 14 years, and I had a travel summit one year, and the second year I had an online travel and space summit. It was the first one. It was almost 17 years ago now, and Story came. He was our keynote speaker, and we had like over 100 people press that came to our press conference, and it was pretty amazing. And talking about sex in space, and I got the news media going on, but it was it was. How can we inspire people to get not only into STEM but into the space industry? And really what we kind of with the robo shows, and of course, like why are people in robotics? Because Star Trek, and they saw these robots when they were younger, and it inspired them. And people need that grassroots inspiration, and that's really what we want to kind of through the robo shows and the robot educational hub is really create the inspiration for people to get into this sector. So I don't know, this doesn't sound like it's a fit, but this proposal as far as like our inspirational robo shows and stuff, but certainly there might be some other opportunities within NASA that I don't know. I know in addition to this one, I think you have some grants and things that NASA has that they offer, and I don't know what other opportunities within NASA do you see for us from an educational standpoint, but also from the products and services that we have.
So this solicitation came out of the Office of STEM Engagement. And that I'll put that in the chat just to let you guys have it. That's probably the best place to look for. I will also suggest this Inspires website that I linked to. I'll send you one more here in the chat. So the Inspire system is where a lot of this flavor of solicitation comes out. Some of them are grants, some of them are contracts and such, but if you go and create an account, you can sign up for their email list. And I am on those. That's how I became aware of this particular opportunity for the skilled aerospace workforce hubs. So that's a way to stay in touch with what NASA is looking to do in terms of the grant and educational outreach space.
Okay.
Because
great. Well,
STEM engagement is a big part of that. They run one of our large internship programs. But each of our headquarters mission directors.
That sounds like a major operation. Are you looking to optimize the curriculum, automate the application process?
Sorry,
internal.
always on device. They're always listening.
Yeah, Kaipo, their prototype in the background, right? So those are the ways to stay in touch, because each of the mission directorates that are interested in our tech dev types of things, mostly that's our science mission directorate and space technology mission directorate, will fund these types of opportunities. So signing up for those mailing lists can help you be aware of when they roll out.
Okay. We'll look at that. And are you familiar with a company in Bulgaria called Endurosat?
No, I'm not.
Endurosat, ENDUROSAT. They recently got funded 100 million. It was their last round. Rachel Rachef, actually, when I had that space summit, he was with the European Space Agency and was working for them at the time. And so he founded Endurosat, and they've been providing a service where you can host your data in space on a satellite, on an nanosatellite. And
cool.
So they got, the usual suspects. Some of Elon's friends invested in this last round, and so they're now going to take that 100 million. I think they raised about 150 in the same year, 50 and then 40, and then 100, like not too far after that. It's about 6 months later, but they're building a factory to build satellites in Sofia, Bulgaria, and
Cool.
so that whole sector is going to be expanding, as we know, the constellations of satellites.
Yep.
So Rachel launched a program that was EU funded, that his team are professors. It's a space school, basically. And so I think he's basically trying to train his own, use that as a talent pipeline and for Endurosat. But so I don't know if there might be something working with them, although it's outside of the US,
Well,
and so.
I was going to suggest maybe ESA does opportunities like this as well. With your sort of international presence, there may be opportunities there. Of course, I am much less well versed in what they offer, but you have to imagine they see these same types of staffing and workforce needs for their applications as well.
And do you see like say FlowBrain, the technology, the wearables, any type of collaboration with NASA?
So we're trying to get smart on a lot of that stuff. So in one of my sister branches, we have some AI efforts. And one of the things that they're looking for is like a mission control in a box. As we go further out into the solar system with humans, communication becomes much more laggy, reduced bandwidth. And in some cases, going to Mars, you're going to have conjunction events where the spacecraft is on the opposite side of the sun from the Earth, and that prohibits comm for a couple of weeks, if I remember my orbital dynamics correctly. So we see an opportunity to sort of embody the spacecraft with an AI type of resource to help crew members manage situations that may come up while we're out of comm. Or, if you have a short time to criticality event, you can't deal with the 40-minute round trip comm type of environment. Does this make sense? I talked earlier about the type of autonomy that we're putting on Gateway, and right, that's just going to be in lunar orbit, and we're talking about time of flight delays on the order of a second or two. Once you bounce off a couple of satellites. So we're already trying to prepare for that, but it's only going to get worse the further we go. So things like, your FlowBrain, I did talk with Kim about maintaining astronaut health and physical performance. There could be something for her to look at there with our human health and performance organizations. And again, I think that Inspires website would help you stay aware of the types of things that they're looking for. I know I have seen some astronaut health studies announced over the last 6 months or so. I tend to sort of just kind of file that in the back of my brain and then delete the email because it's not my area of responsibility. But I do know that they're looking for those types of innovative solutions. So I think there are opportunities. I don't know that I can put my finger on anything immediate for you guys.
Okay, well, I'll give you a little chance to think about everything that you heard today, and also Story Musgrave. I had met out. He's still working. He's turned 90 in August, and he's working out in LA, and he lives in Florida. And he I had dinner with him in LA, and then I met with him out at his house in Florida, and he didn't exactly remember me. He has some memory issues, and
Yep.
he still he wants to go to space. He wants to hitch a ride to space, is what he said. He's a regular at Jeff Bezos. They have an annual Blue Origin meeting. And so he's hopeful that he's going to catch a ride to space. But I was thinking about, because we have some neurologists and we're looking at kind of mood changer with the brain, and if there might be some type of an opportunity to do some testing. Let's say if we got him, somehow we went to space and put a project around, he'll be in 2 years after 2 years, he'll be the oldest astronaut to go to space, because I think there's a tie right now with two guys that were 91 or maybe 92.
Shatner, right?
Shatner and somebody. No, it was. I'm not sure who they were, but there's two. One of them was a congressman, I think, that went up.
Glenn. I thought he was in his 70s when John Glenn went back.
Anyway, so yeah. So if there's any type of opportunities with looking at doing some maybe research on, hey, this astronaut's been up to space 6 times and he's having some memory issues, serious memory issues, I would say, and I think there is a case to be argued that NASA should look at doing some research on Story Musgrave and his cognition. But so that is something I just want to throw out there, and because we are trying to figure out how to work together, and as well as Admiral Inman, I mentioned he's kind of one of our co-founders, I would say, and he's still on the board of Caltech, and he's been overseeing JPL for like 35 years. He's been on Caltech's board. He's turning 95 in April. So he's Admiral Inman's still working every day, and then of course Chancellor Sharp. He launched the Space Initiative space program at Texas A&M, and now they have a replica of the moon and a replica of Mars at Johnson Space Center. So we've got all these space components, some friends in that industry. So we really want to we're trying to figure out how to take these baby steps so we can get into this. One of our things that we were looking at from a robotic standpoint is to put together a plan where we can send humanoids and maybe be in the ISS or some capsule and do tests for big pharma that are looking at doing testing. Because if you have a 24/7 robot in space that's doing testing, it's like it's going to lower the cost of that stuff significantly, and it'll expand the market significantly of doing the different types of tests. So that was one of the things that we were thinking about as far as a project is concerned, and kind of one of our startup initiatives
So I did put one more link there in the chat for the Translational Research Institute for Space Health. And I think that's another opportunity that y'all could look at. It's called TRISH, and they are collaborating with our human research program. So this could be, a good opportunity for you. They're on their homepage. They talk about working with human research program for risk reduction strategies for astronauts on long space journeys with potential Earth-based applications. So, the mood changer and the other technologies you've talked about, I think could be potentially applicable there.
Okay. We'll definitely look at that. And if you were in our situation, in my situation here, where you had people like Chancellor Sharp and Admiral Inman and Story Musgrave on your board, how would you leverage them to get into the space sector and get engaged with NASA?
So having them on your board is a great step. And I think the best thing that those folks can bring is some of the contextual challenges. I think we can understand that, humans in space are going to have health issues just because of the drastic difference in the environment, right? But somebody like Story, I think, could probably give you some concrete challenges from his, personal work history and things he did in space, where you could target your the solutions you're coming up with and help guide you towards the space flight needs. They also, I think, probably have extensive networks to help put you in contact for any of these types of funding opportunities, right? If you bring a couple of collaborators that, as one team, you can provide a superior product. I think that's very attractive to us. I've seen that in a couple of other applications, university research and technology development funding out of DoD. They seem to be looking for groups of universities in many cases, rather than just one that's going to try to do it all. I think they're more interested in what can we do with a team of aligned experts that are marching towards the same goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw when Pete Hegseth was Starbase and a month or so ago, and he kind of came out and looking at the opportunities where they're going to work with startups and not be so focused on the bigger companies that. So is NASA taking that same approach, looking at working with startups as well?
So we do have certain initiatives that are focused on that, right? SBIR, the Small Business Innovative Research, is a traditional opportunity for us to try to develop our supplier base and look for good ideas from anybody, not just the big primes that have a professional proposal writing department, right? So we look for those. I think, like any government agency, we do have different small business procurement targets. I have seen, well, let's see. SBIR and STTR. So that might be something where y'all could, if there is an opportunity with like A&M Corpus, you could be the business entity that helps them commercialize the technology they've developed, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we'll look in those, and I know it's getting late here, and I appreciate your time. Before we wrap things up, does anybody have any questions for Jonathan, or any last minute things that we didn't get to that you want to talk about, Pranad?
I don't have any like specific ones now.
Okay, Spencer?
I have nothing. John sent me some PDF document about the Robonaut 2 hand. I hope you don't mind, Jonathan. I'm going to reverse engineer that finger tendon if you don't mind.
That's why we put out the paper.
Perfect.
Great, thank you. Oliver?
No questions. I think it's a great opportunity. I don't want to go to war assuming I already lost. So I think we should try. I think we definitely have the skills. We haven't really had the opportunity to do soldering and actual like CEM and electronics essentially development in person just because of the lack of a lab. We do have the expertise, however, and people on the teams are learning electronics, even though they're not learning um, to do essentially the manual work of soldering. Essentially, those techniques that you usually do when you have the hardware in hand are only possible if you have the all the materials and the devices to do it. So yeah, we should definitely try. We should also look at the other options. Mood changer can definitely be a good device that can be useful in space. I think that if Kaipo, as it is, can't be used in space as an extra device, at least the platform that we are developing that can be integrated into other devices can definitely be useful in the future. Since it's meant to be modular, I think you can even integrate Kaipo on a helmet, for example. And if you have the sensors, you can simply aggregate the sensors into the AI. So I think it's definitely a tool that has a lot of potential. And the only limit is really the LLM and the sensors that you connect to it. So it can really become Skynet in the future if you want. So yeah, I definitely see a potential there. Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
we looked at using Kaipo for like on helmets, for motorcycle helmets, maybe pilots also, and that you can look at your instruments and it can tell you stuff. It sometimes it might be helpful. So Indra,
I think all my questions were answered throughout what Jonathan told us, and I am just really happy to be here and to have shared a little bit about what we're working on Flow Labs and to learn more about NASA with Jonathan. Thank you very much.
thank you, Indra. Bakir?
No, I have no question on my side, but it was a great opportunity to meet you all here.
Yeah, thank you all. And Jonathan, we did see on the proposal that we had to have like a kind of three companies that were working with
Right.
NASA and then at NASA. So I don't know how we're gonna get those partnerships within 30 days and add those to the list. Do you have any suggestions?
There might be somewhere that the folks on your board could help you if they know folks who would be interested in supporting this type of proposal. A&M Corpus and the community college down there, as well as hold on, what was his name? I wrote it down. Mr. Culberson
Mike, yeah.
From Corpus Economic Development. They might have some local folks who could throw their weight behind it as well. They're not too far away from Starbase, so I don't know if any of SpaceX or their suppliers would be good candidates. But
Okay. I'll ask him and see. And I guess for NASA, the NASA contact, is that something that we can use you on as far as a reference?
sure, yes. So in the document, there is a formal point of contact at Johnson Space Center. This was towards the end of the proposal. Who can provide the Danae Fullwood is the name listed there on page 24 of the solicitation. And it talks about some like template language. For your proposal. Yeah, so page 23 and 24. So the way that we have to run these things is that there is a formal contact at the center who is the focal point for, making those commitments. So, we can, in the technical workforce, we can go have conversations all day long with the way they want us to architect it. And, if you contact her, you can certainly contact me as well, or CC me.
Yeah. Well, it said that we needed to have, like, use someone at NASA or some department as a reference along with the 3 companies. So I didn't know if, like, having you as one of the references.
Yeah, that'd be great. Glad to do it.
Okay. Okay, great. Pranav, do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, I did have a question, not just like companies in contact, but it also says we need to like have some kind of letter from like a high school CTE program and a community college CTE program.
Mhm.
So do we just reach out to like is it just any program, or is it like our local program that's in
Whoever
the
you would
area?
like to work with.
I see, okay.
Um,
Does the high school and community college have to be like, can like what I'm trying to say is, can they be different? Or do they have to be like those in the same area? Or like the high school that feeds into the community college area?
So I think a successful proposal would show, how you would tap into maybe students graduating high school
Mhm.
who could flow into a program of this sort.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, no, that's true.
So I think they would like you to show, we are going to talk to the local school district or provide an opportunity at the community college. If they do a career night type of thing, you could set up that progression. How are you going to go find these people and recruit them into this type of program?
Okay.
Again,
Yeah,
I encourage you to go look at it. If it doesn't make sense for your organization and what your goals and aspirations are, I wouldn't try to force it, but it seemed like a great opportunity to further some of the things that John and I spoke about a year ago.
Yeah.
So I'm glad for the opportunity to talk with y'all today and kind of kick around some ideas, as well as hear about the things that you've already spent a lot of effort on.
Thank you.
Great. Well, we will pursue this opportunity and try and put something together that makes sense, and hopefully we'll learn from this experience, even if we're not successful in getting it, and hopefully it will position us for the next time, the next NASA opportunity, and also to just really kind of look and see how we can move forward with a relationship with NASA and in other aspects. So, if you can, we'll be coming back to you as we start to work on this proposal, of course, and get your advice. And but yeah, kind of beyond this, if there's any kind of thinking, we'd like to kind of have another meeting with you maybe in the next couple months and kind of catch up and see where we're at and see if maybe you can help us. NASA's this big thing out there, and we need someone in the inside that can help us kind of figure out how to move things forward, because Admiral Inman and they can they can help with some contacts at some high levels, but it's at the end of the day, you got to get in with people like you that are in the trenches that can, help us navigate where we need to go.
Yep. So glad to help. I think we have some of the same aspirations about, getting people equipped for the future. So it's a pleasure to talk with y'all today, and I look forward to continuing the conversation.
Great. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Thank you all. Talk to everyone soon. Bye for now.
Take care.
Thank
Thank you for your time.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.